So IR, of the four roles that I have, IR clearly is the most important, most relevant, and therefore most time consuming of the four roles that I work on. It's also more consistent because it happens around the year. There's no seasonality element to it. But the other roles that I have are external affairs, wherein I manage relationships with our government agencies, with our regulators, and so on and so forth. I'm also responsible for working on corporate communications for the group. So we have operations in Egypt, in Iraq, and here in the UAE. So I'm responsible for both corporate communication strategy, but also implementation of that. And the fourth role is sustainability and governance. So these are the four roles that I cover. Broadly, I would probably safely say 50% of my time is on IR, and then the balance 50, unfortunately, is on the other three elements of my job. As Dana Gas as a company, we are in a way fortunately positioned because a large mix of our production, which is 80% of our production, is natural gas. And this natural gas is sold at long-term fixed price contracts. So to that extent, we are not as exposed to oil price volatility as others are in our peer group and other operators in the region. That said, the balance 20% production is liquid, is benchmarked to global prices, and naturally tends to be higher margins. And of course, therefore, there is an impact on profits. There's an impact. Now, the cascading effect of that is naturally on budgets. It's on people, resources, and all of those have been impacted. But we're in a cyclical business. We all understand cycles by virtue of being cycles go up and down. And things will improve hopefully at some stage, and we can gear back again into a more top gear mode than what we've been in the last 8 to 9 months. So things have changed quite considerably, both in the context of the UAE market evolving as there is incremental flows coming in from foreign investors, but also there's a lot of local domestic institutions that are wisening up to opportunities. The oil price corrections, but also the emerging markets corrections have led therefore to value opportunities for a lot of analysts and for a lot of buy side, certainly the value investors. They see these as good entry strategies, and therefore our IR approach has shifted from traditional growth emerging market monies to looking at more value buyers, and that's where we've been targeting our attention to. The second group, of course, is the local, and by local I mean the whole GCC. There is a huge corpus of investable surplus existing with high net worth individuals, family offices, and so on and so forth. So from a targeting perspective, I've shifted gears, if you like, from traditionally much more institutional focus to a mix of both local retail / high net worth individuals and incrementally, and of course the institutional coverage as well. It is difficult. It's difficult because you need to use different vehicles in order to reach out to them. And that's where media starts to play an important role. And I think specialized media such as yours as well plays an important role in our ability to target some of the retail investors. Here in the region, it's far more driven by media coverage, particularly in the Arabic media side. But also in English. We work extensively with our exchange, which is the Abu Dhabi Stock Exchange, in targeting and working alongside with them in targeting brokers who focus on local markets. So on the sell side, we focus a lot more. And of course, we cover local markets quite extensively. Dana Gas, we have a large shareholding base from both the UAE, but also from Saudi and Kuwait. So I make it a point to include these markets into my coverage.